Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Preserving History and Democracy. I'm Communications Coordinator Cynthia Mendoza, joined with our producer Bernardine Caporale. How are you, Bern?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Today we have a very special guest. Do you want to introduce us to our special guest?
Well, we are looking at taking a closer look at community development, and our guest speaker today is Christopher Valencia. He's going to share his experience with us. And please welcome Chris as we know him. Hi, Chris.
Hello, welcome. Hi, thank you.
How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here. So you work in community development. Can you tell us a little bit about what community development is for those who don't know, including me? I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I've actually been fairly new to the department. I've been there for about a year and a half now. I was hired on to fill the current planning position. You're always seeing me in the clerk's office because I'm usually helping people out with closing their claim of exemptions, their paperwork, land splits, if you will, land splits. That's just one of my many tasks that I have as a planner. But as for the Office of Community Development, we're at 845 North Motel Boulevard. We're the first office to the right when you enter. You'll see the information booth, but right when you enter, we're to the right, and we have a lot of stuff in that little office.
Awesome. Here at the county, a lot of these offices work together. People probably don't know how much these departments work together, and we also work separately, but I think that's just something that people aren't aware of here at the County Government Center. Yeah,
we work with a lot of different departments, the assessor's office, treasurer's, clerk's office, and as for the Office of Development, I'd say that we provide basic infrastructure, basic infrastructure, maintenance, and basically protection of our resources around the county. There's a lot. One of our main goals is to protect the health, safety, and welfare all throughout the county. As for exactly like what we do in community development, it's quite extensive. Like, for example, in the community development office, we house the building services for all your permitting and building permit needs. We'd like to mention, please pull your permits. It feels good whenever we know that constituents do their homework and pull their permits. We have constituent services in that office, county engineering, facilities and services, which is comprised of facilities and parks, vector control, utilities, and lastly, they actually maintain a lot of and operate a lot of the maintenance of the fairgrounds. Cool. So a lot of resources around the county that community development has their hands in.
It's a big county around here, so
it is.
I don't think people realize that.
And our county has experienced so much growth these days. Can you tell us about planning and zoning and their role in the growth of the city?
Oh, yeah, that's great. Something interesting, that's actually pretty exciting, I wanted to mention was community development back in January 23. The BOCC awarded a contract to Avicetti Technologies for the development and implementation of a new software called Clarity Cloud and ePlan Soft. And it replaces basically the old antiquated application software. The new software basically has the capability of including your electronic plan review, a customer portal so applicants can submit their applications, and even track their projects. It's really neat. We went live, a soft live, back in August of 24. We started testing with a little bit of the customer portal side. It's been interesting, and there's been a soft rollout since then. We did go soft open in December, and we're allowing the public to sort of help us with the testing. So keep an eye out for Doña County website and for any more information. But it's been really interesting introducing this software to the contractors and to the constituents.
Cool.
Very nice.
What would you say are some of the top priorities of community development, and what do some of your coworkers do?
A lot of priority, but we have a lot of priorities around the county. We're really trying to instill a lot of stewardship in terms of keeping your county clean, trash, illegal dumping, keeping that aware and stuff of throwing your trash and recycling in the right locations. For example, there's this ACEs program that we have with through codes enforcement, and it's and some supporting partners with those agencies like Vet Control, Doña Fire, Constituent Services, and every other month a neighborhood is chosen for we call it a knock and talk, where codes enforcements and partnering agencies go door to door to answer questions about permitting, illegal dumping, environmental issues, overall education to that neighborhood. And then 2 weeks later, We include visits. We bring in a big trash trailer. It's dropped at a specific location and for trash collection. This program also includes Carlos the Coyote, Lizzie the Lizard to local elementary schools, where they teach the young about illegal dumping, trash collection, and the importance of keeping our desert clean and our community clean from trash.
Has anybody seen the new commercial with Bryan Cranston about littering?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
New
pretty
Mexico
cool.
one, that's awesome.
He's dressed up as the guy in Breaking Bad.
Walter
He's a
White, yeah.
character.
Walter White.
Walter White, right? And he's picking up trash and don't get on my turf or something like that. He says something really
He's
cool.
done a lot. They've done a lot for New Mexico.
Yeah.
I think just the tourism board in general with the Breaking Bad, and it's a really good series. Have you ever seen it?
I have.
Love
you
it.
seen it?
It's
You
one of my
have?
favorite shows. We've seen it probably 3 times now. So
That house is finally for sale. The
I
lady
heard it's
finally
gonna be
sold-
like $5 million or
Yes.
something like
Wow.
At the very end, she was very angry. She was irritated
Okay.
by all the people that would stop by and ask
Oh,
her.
I bet.
And she would say that there was all the time people throwing pizzas on top of
yeah.
the roof.
Why pizzas?
Because on the series,
scenes.
there's a few scenes where I think there's an episode where Walters does something or
Yeah.
Why
He
don't
takes a
remember
pizza
that?
to Skylar, and it's when they're getting separated or whatever.
Oh,
and
okay.
He throws a pizza because he's mad, and
Oh, I don't remember that scene.
pretty crazy
Okay.
though. Yeah.
That's
So if
really
anybody
cool.
has $5
Random
million,
throwing pizza.
go
Yeah.
get that house, right?
Yeah.
that house. I mean, all the other houses around it are probably $250,000, whatever. But now
Yeah.
this one's $5 million.
5 million.
It's got a pool, so that's cool.
Are you house hunting again?
Not in Albuquerque.
Okay.
Not here either.
Good.
I just bought a house.
Good.
So we don't need that again.
Yeah.
How are those commercial, or how are the campaigns kind of doing for you guys? Have you noticed a difference in littering around here in Doniana?
Yes, we've seen whenever the ACES programs is enacted in those
Mm-hmm.
in those neighborhoods and we choose random neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Whenever that occurs every few months.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of success from the ACES program. A lot of good moments and stuff. I think for educating the neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
in terms of keeping them aware that they are stewards of their neighborhood, keeping them aware of some of the hazards of just allowing trash to accumulate. I mean, we have strong winds. There's always a risk for fire, but and also interesting enough, there's some interesting facts that go hand in hand with the growth of the county. The Plan 2040 is a comprehensive plan on where the county is going for the next 25, till 40 years. Interesting enough, there are 3,804 square miles in Doñana County. That's a lot of area, and quite possibly it's a lot of area for people to move into. For example, one of the largest population increases since 1900 occurred during 2000 to 2015. There was a 22.5 population increase from 170,000 to 214,000 people in the Doñana County. What community development does is basically what we're attempting to do is to prepare, plan, and act to receive this influx of people from around the country.
That's
It's a
awesome.
lot of people.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, we moved here about 3 years ago from Denver, so
Okay.
we know how it feels to be transplants, and I hadn't been in Las Cruces for 25 years before
Wow.
we moved here, and it's been a lot of change,
A lot of
Yeah.
growth.
a
Yeah.
lot of growth. I mean, even
awesome.
and we're still a small town, but it's I feel like we're definitely we're filling in.
Yeah. We're expanding a
Yeah,
lot.
I see a
so
lot
I've
of
lived here my whole
houses.
life, and it's
Yeah.
crazy how many houses are in like deserts where we used to go like off-roading and stuff. So it's
Yes.
like,
That's amazing
There's
to
houses
me.
there now.
Probably.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about permits and if someone has to build, for example, a shed in their backyard, what do you need from that person?
We get that question a lot. First, it's best to understand your zone and what you already have installed in your property. If you already have a primary dwelling, like the first house or your primary home, more than likely, generally speaking, you're permitted a second home, depending on your neighborhood. But as this is where you have to do a little bit of your homework. You have to know your zone. For example, if it's much more difficult to install a garage on an empty plot of land, because basically, what's the usage of your land if it's just one storage unit? This brings the question, what's the usage of your property? Which is much more easier to install a garage if there's already a primary use established. So it's not as easy as can I just install a garage? It's more like, what do you want to use it for in terms of what's the usage of the land?
Okay.
So best to sort of give us a quick call, and we can help you with that.
Cool. That's awesome.
What about business registrations? We're going to do an upcoming podcast with Tammy, who you
Yes.
know,
Tammy.
on business registrations. But what role does community development play in that? I know we're always telling people you have to stop at community development first.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so we issue the registrations while the county. I like to say the county clerk takes your money. They don't let us touch the money. So we just basically make sure that your business is in the right location in terms of the neighborhood. Customer starts off with the business registration process at the community development office. You can print one off from the clerk's website. If not, we'll just go and give you one there. In our office is where we make sure that you ultimately that your business is permitted for that correct zone. Many times we find out that a particular business is not permitted for that area. So, and sometimes that business registration would need a special use permit to be permitted for that area. So you do have a few options. You can either one, find a different location for your business, or we can change the zone or just to the zone that permits it. The zone change would entail a public hearing in the chambers.
wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit more for that zone change. A public hearing in the chambers in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then where it would be voted on. But both the zone change and special use permit, they're pretty special permits.
I would say so. So what would be an example of a business, would you say, that wouldn't be allowed in my neighborhood?
What's really interesting is now that the cannabis culture has
Yeah.
made its way into Doña Ana County, you'd be surprised on how many people want to grow their plants
Oh, I bet.
in the garage and then sell other extra stuff. So it's not that easy to just simply open up to start growing cannabis and then starting a business in a residential neighborhood.
Okay.
So a lot of people think it's my property, I can do whatever I want. Certain things are not permitted in certain zones.
That makes
Okay.
sense, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we have those ordinances keeping, residential areas away from certain establishments or uses, elementary schools, churches.
Okay.
So you need to be in the right zone for your particular usage.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm a little curious about Airbnbs. Is that something you need to register if you're starting an Airbnb?
Oh, yes. We call them short-term rentals, but yes, those do have a processing procedure. It takes about 30 to 45 days, and they do require a special use permit if you're operating within Doña Ana County. And we don't have jurisdiction over Las Cruces, so their restrictions are a lot different than ours.
Okay.
So
Where can
is it
people-
difficult to get one then?
No, there's just you have to proof of insurance, proof of your property that you
Right.
own it. It's a business in terms of you're creating a space for someone to come in to stay. So we want to make sure that their health, the health, safety is all taken care of, and the
Okay.
well-being of the person staying there, but also that they're staying in a safe place.
Right,
Okay.
that there's no mold or anything growing there before
Yes.
they
Yeah.
start renting it out. Okay, cool.
Fire, we have good
hazards.
fire access if we
Right.
needed to, get in there. Hopefully not, but we want to make sure that the ultimately that unit is safe.
Right, that makes sense.
Okay.
Cool.
So plats. I have to ask you about plats. Every time Chris comes in our office, he's got plats. Not my favorite part of the job.
That's funny.
So I run away.
She says, I'm taking my 15-minute break right now.
Right. What's going on with all these plats?
I call it, at that time when you're seeing me, I call it the claim of exemption dance. That's what I'm doing. I'm usually walking our constituents through from office to office as they're completing, filing, recording their land splits. The claim of exemption, if you will. It starts off at the assessors, and then where we print out the most recent tax sheet. Then I take you over to the treasurer's office. You pay there, and then we go back to the assessors. They give us a letter simply saying that your taxes were paid, and then I walk you to the clerk's office, and then we file and record your land split. So when you see me, I'm usually, however long y'all take to review the documents, I'm walking them through, and whether it be a family claim of exemption or if you're splitting your land for mortgage purposes, it's usually there walking the client through.
Okay.
There's a lot of land split processes that are done that we've just been doing for many decades now.
Okay.
And this is just how the county works, going from paying taxes to the filing record of your plat.
Okay. So we all kind of working together here.
Yeah,
really do.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a process, right? You have to go through several departments to kind of get something taken care of, so it's kind of
There's a
cool.
lot to this office.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
is.
We had a little run in with nothing bad, but there was just a little bump in the road in one of the cases, and I was speaking to the surveyor and speaking to someone in the clerk's office and the assessor's office, and I was like, hey, there's a lot of different sort of, stories going on in terms of processes to fix this case. Let's go ahead and all try to sit down. So I called for a quick meeting, and a few hours later, we were all sitting down in the same room, and we ironed out the problem with that case. And it felt really good to sort of see all of the different departments in one area, in one room, hashing out what the problem was. And it really kind of brought us together to make us realize that a lot of different groups have their hands in making this county run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's awesome that we all work as a team and kind of just getting these situations
Right.
fixed.
We're all working together.
Yeah.
It's our county.
Just because we're in separate, little parts of the building doesn't mean we don't work together. So
That's cool, though, because I've never known really what the purpose of your plats were
Yes.
coming in. I mean, I know it's subdivisions and that, but how does it, I didn't know your role.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be nice, I think, to sit down every once in a while with the other groups and sort of hash out what we do, and not per se getting in the details or the weeds, but just simply like, this is our part in the larger system that we work together ultimately to help with the constituents and the citizens of Doña County
Right.
understand what they can't do with their property, and ultimately we're all living in the same location together.
yeah, we all have the same purpose.
Very true.
Is there anything else you would like to add about community development and its role independently and cooperatively with the clerk's office?
No. I think we've chatted pretty nicely about everything. I know that
Yeah.
whenever it comes to reaching out, just understand that we as well are going through things in terms of learning new software,
Yeah.
new processes, and we are just, we're regular citizens as well. So we're not superheroes in terms of what we can do, but we can do as much as we can in our little world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If anybody needs to reach out to community development about anything, where can they reach out?
Yeah, it's best just to email us or give us a call. I honestly can't tell you the number. We were talking about this earlier. I don't know phone numbers now. I know contacts, but email would be emails at buildingservices@doñaanacounty.org.
Cool.
Any kind of questions you have from there, we can sort of disseminate it out to the correct location. But we have a lot of questions for building services, so just go and email us at buildingservices@doñaanacounty.org.
Awesome.
Anything
Awesome.
else, Bern? Anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to thank Chris so much.
I get tongue-tied sometimes.
No, you're
And
good.
then I know that it's so funny because like whenever you start hearing yourself recorded, I always sound really nasally and really awkward.
No,
because
you
you hear
sounded great.
yourself from the inside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You always hear yourself from here. So whenever you hear yourself through the microphone, it's so different.
You're always like, that's how I sound.
I hate the way I sound.
No, you sound great. You did great.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Absolutely great.
Cool. Ready for wrap
I
up?
really hope you're recording. Because you're all like, guys, I didn't even have it plugged in. I'm all like, I got to go to lunch.
Oh, no. Alrighty, ready for wrap up then?
Sure.
Cool. Well, we want to thank Chris for joining us today and bringing light to the role of your office here in Doña County. You've brought a lot of information to us, and we're really grateful for all that. So,
Well, thank you for having us. Thank you for having me. I think this is a great opportunity for us to really bridge the gap, if you will, between
Yeah.
other groups.
Yeah, and this is something we want to do with other departments too. So hopefully we get to see other department leaders out here as well in our podcast. Thank you for joining us once again, Chris. We want to thank your staff as well for everything they do. I'm Cynthia Mendoza, Communications Coordinator, and this is Bernardine Caporale, our producer. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.